That's great. That's cool. There's at least one seat here. That's occupied by a newspaper. There's also some space in the front. If anybody wants to sit on the floor, you're welcome to. I'm just going to keep my head out, and I'll write this down. See, someone who knows what I'm doing. Good evening. So we're going to get started in a few minutes. If you're in the hallway, just so you know, there's a couple of spaces on the floor right here. There are a lot of you. We love you all. We are aware that it's going to get somewhat hot in here. So the way this will work is after the presentations, we'll break out and we'll have the entire space to ourselves. So yes, it will be hot, but it will get better. Should we start? We shall start. I guess we just did. Welcome to Open Government Hack Day! This is, oh wait, can we click on this one? So, you guys, I take it you guys know about this thing called data science for social good? That's why you're here, right? It's good, it's data science. All right, so we're going to hear from some of the, a few of the groups today. But before we do that, we are going to do what we always do. And I know this is going to seem like a gigantic task, but we're actually going to, everyone's going to like very quickly just say their name and what they're interested in. And we'll get through the room real quick, and then we'll have a brief period for announcements, and then we'll get to the main presentation. And our goal is to try to get everybody out of here, out of this hot room by like 7:15, and kind of break out and go and work on other stuff. Raise your hand if this is your first Open Gov Hack Day. All right, hey, new people, yay! Welcome. Welcome. So this is Chicago's place to learn and build and talk about open data and civic technology. We've been meeting for, this is our 113th event, so hopefully we know what we're doing by now. It's been in this room every Tuesday for the past 2 years, and we're probably going to keep going. Maybe we need a bigger room. I don't know. We'll see. But for right now, we're in this one. So we'll start with the introductions. My name is Derek Eater. I'm an open data web developer with DataMade. I like to build stuff with open data, and I'm also one of the organizers for this event.
My name is Christopher Whitaker. I'm the Code for America Brigade Captain for Chicago, and I run a civic technology consulting firm.
My name is Jimmy, and I'm a tutor at engineering, and I'm also basic skills like computer teacher at Dutch Local Services, and I'm trying to learn from them.
Carmen Blue, I'm an analyst at the hospital, interested in education.
My name is Daniel Hertz. I'm a grad student at UChicago, and I am interested in urban policy, housing, and transportation mostly.
I'm Charles. I'm an early student, and my main interest is in transit planning and designing transit systems.
My name is Stephen Vance. I am the leader of the transportation breakout group that you can join me later today. And I'm a reporter for Streets Blog Chicago, and I write about transportation policy and issues.
Hello, I'm Jeff Carpenter. I'm a programmer looking to get involved in a project. I really love libraries.
My name is Miguel. I'm a fellow at the Data Science for Social Good. And I'm in the Wiki Energy group, which we're disaggregating data, energy data. You'll hear from us later.
My name is Sabina. I'm also in that group, and I'm interested in everything that everyone will talk about.
My name is Will Newby. I'm a sysadmin at the Discovery Channel, and I do most of my work in Linux systems, so I love managing those.
Matt Waha, I work with Will at Discovery. We're particularly actually an education unit, so education, data, policy, that kind of stuff.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm also a DSSG fellow. I'm on the team working with Nurse Family Partnership, working to optimize how they treat expectant mothers. I come from a stats background, but I'm more recently interested in the intersection of stats with computer science and using that to make the world a better place. Yeah.
Also, Sarah, in the same team as Sarah over here, and I study statistics at Cornell, and I'm interested in data science and nonprofits.
Carl Vogel, Open Tech Strategies, LLC. We help companies and governments launch open source projects.
Lee Kuhn, I just graduated from the University of Chicago, and I'm interested in vacant land in Chicago.
I'm David Miller. I'm a DSSG fellow, particularly interested in education.
I'm Everardo. I'm from Brazil and really depressed.
Hi, I'm Meg Lusick. I'm learning how to program.
I'm Sarah Hart. I'm a Vista at the Shriver Center, and I'm interested in data and nonprofits.
I'm John Squayo, CTO with Allied Telesis. Worked at hospitals for years in IT, but now with Obamacare, building applications to people, particularly Medicaid and Medicare patients out of the hospital.
I'm David Ginsberg. I'm a software engineer and newly minted freelancer, currently doing some IT infrastructure freelancing. And next week, unfortunately, I won't be able to be here because I'm moving to DC.
Good for DC, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm Phil. I'm a DSSG fellow working on energy desegregation.
I'm Steve. I'm also a DSSG fellow, also working on energy desegregation.
I'm Alex Simchevsky. I have a background in workforce development, and I'm learning to code now.
My name is Jim McGowan. I'm with the American Red Cross, manager of situational awareness, and we're looking to develop applications to help us manage disaster response.
I'm Laura. I'm the regional planner for the American Red Cross San Diego region, and I'm interested in technology that supports disaster relief.
I'm Carlene Callister, and I do freelance technical writing. More recently, like Android apps and all sorts of applications.
I'm Gina. I'm working on an electric vehicle small business, and I'm really interested in transportation.
I'm Bob Paul. I'm a software engineer. I'm also the community leader in the Chicago Job Users Group, just kind of interested in act nights and government data sets.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Vanovic. I'm a pharmacist and also an MBA student and looking to develop a project I'm working on.
I'm Mark Madoff. I'll do marketing research and I'm just interested in data.
We are the data science and social good stuff fellow. I'm a graduate student in UCLA.
Hi, I'm Vanessa. I'm a data science and social good fellow, as Joe said, and I'll be presenting shortly on our project with Chicago Homelessness.
I'm Tracy. I'm on the DSSG team, and I study statistics.
I'm Andrew. I'm also on the DSSG CTS team, and I study statistics as well.
My name is Brendan McCullum. I'm a software developer with the Chicago Computation Institute, and I also volunteer at a project called Artifice, which is a nonprofit in Woodlawn that helps kids learn about technology and programming and things like that. And I'd just like to learn about some of the things that are going on.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth. I'm a project manager at an ad agency in education.
Hi, I'm Gavin. I work in civic engagement at Microsoft.
Hi, I'm Mel. I work at Microsoft with Gavin, and I write Windows 8 apps.
I'm Adam Heckman. I'm Microsoft's Director of Civic Tech here in Chicago, and I also have the Chicago City Data User Group. To my left is Steve Luker. Steve's he's a developer. He's been lately doing a lot of mobile app development, and he's the bump to the game. We're going to start here and kind of make the loop.
Sure. I'm Brandon Wood. I was one of the mentors in the first DSSG, so here to see everyone. And right now, I'm a statistician as well. I work as a research consultant at the school business. I'm Nick Bailey. I'm a business analyst with a e-commerce retailer, and
getting into working on big data that doesn't have to do with selling clothing. Not that there's anything wrong. Big clothing.
I'm Andrea Lott. I work as an engineer at Lens Tech, where I work mostly on sustainability issues. I'm interested in environment, far less on energy and specific issues.
Hi, I'm Akash. I study anthropology and history at the University of Chicago. I used to be a computer science major, still interested in science.
I'm Ambrose. I'm a student, and I'm interested in the city and the student system.
My name is Rob Harrell. I work with data and human service programs and demographics in Chicago.
I'm Nina Sandlin. I'm with My Health Matters, which is a volunteer implementation group. This week I'm in maps out of Ross Beta, and I really want to meet that guy.
That's great.
I'm Nora Foley. I'm a data scientist, and at night I'm getting a master's degree in analytics at the University of Chicago. And I'm looking to get more into public health related data. I do advertising now, not that there's anything wrong.
I'm Sarah Sexton. I'm a new hire at Microsoft. And I'm from Seattle. This is like my first time ever being here.
Welcome to Chicago!
Recent layoff from a non-for-profit to funding. I'm interested particularly CPS. I worked there previously in the real estate area, worked with GIS and Chicago data, and I want to see what this whole program is all about.
Hi, I'm Vicki. I'll be a student at Stanford in the fall. I'm an intern in Big America now. My interests are machine learning, education, and being an expert.
My name is Tom Shank. I'm the Director of Analytics for the City of Chicago. I run our city's data portal, advanced analytics program, database management, and other aspects.
I'm Terry. I'm a community organizer in Logan Square. I'm interested in affordable housing issues.
Hi, Diana Stewart, Illinois Tollway. Here to learn about how this whole thing works.
I'm Ben Kolak, documentary filmmaker. I'm shooting for a piece for the DSSG Fellowship this summer. I previously made a piece about OpenGov for a web series on a website Gaper's Block about
Hi, I'm Hugh Devlin. I'm a computer scientist, and I'm currently with the city of Chicago.
My name is Zachary D'Amato, founder of the Naru Project. We build industrial hydroponic systems that will clean the river, create local biofuel, and local fisheries.
I'm Jessica. I work with health data, and I'm interested in designing and analyzing metrics to improve health.
I'm Kurt Rudolph. I'm a software engineer for financial exchange. I'm interested in transit data.
Hi, I'm Kelly Sternbridge. I'm with Microsoft. I'm our Director of Civic Engagement, so that means I do a lot of work with the Mayor's Office on STEM schools, citywide STEM plan, working with nonprofits to improve digital literacy.
My name is Chris Canning. I'm a Director of Evangelism based out of Dallas, and I have some folks that work up here in Chicago. I'm here to just participate however I can, help you guys be successful, making amazing, earth-changing things on our platform.
I work for Microsoft.
I'm Zach Seastick. I'm a doctoral student in statistics at Northwestern, doing some research with survey statistics and housing data. And I was also a 2013 DSSG.
I'm Clea Fang. I'm a project manager with the Metropolitan Planning Council and employ the role of planning and technology.
My name is Stavi. My background is operations research, and I apply that to quantitative statistics. I work with a lot of data, and I'm interested in learning about data science and social.
My name is Kelly Freetag. I am a grad student at the University of Chicago School of Social Service Administration. I study state-level welfare policies, and I'm interested in the big question of what does welfare mean at every level. So you take that.
I'm Sachin. I'm an undergraduate at UChicago, studying econ and statistics, and I'm currently interning at an 1871 startup.
My name is Shala. I'm a computer scientist at Enrollment. Also, I'm a software engineer at Wellspring with Georgia.
Hi, I'm Sorg Coley. I'm with the Center for Financial Services Innovation, and what we do is work on finding solutions for low-income and middle-income families for their financial struggles like building credit, building savings. And today I'm here to learn more about this community and also to promote an upcoming hackathon we're having.
I'm Damon Drummer. I live and work in Inglewood. I actually get paid to work at the nexus of community development and technology. Not much, but.
I'm Josh Kalov. I'm an open data developer, interested in education, and currently helping Cook County government release open data.
You've got it. Okay, so there's a group of you in the back. If you'd like, you can poke your head in and introduce yourself. If anybody's.
Hi, I'm Joe Walsh. I'm a data scientist.
Everyone else is wave. Hi, everybody out there.
Wait for the people.
I like you. Matt, did you say hi?
Oh, hey, I'm Matt. I'm one of the organizers of the Data Science and Social Good Fellowship, and I'm excited to get to talk a little bit about it, but more importantly, to have the fellows actually talk about what they're doing, which is a lot more interesting than listening to me.
Awesome. So shall we move on to announcements then? Open floor for anybody to announce to the group events that are coming up, projects, newsworthy things that are related to open government and or civic technology. We had some of them we already posted.
All right. So in 2 weeks, my organization, Center for Financial Services Innovation, is working with an organization called D2D Fund, Roll Waste to Green, and we have a corporate sponsor, Capital One, who is helping us put on a hackathon. We hosted one last month in San Francisco. We're doing one next month in New York. But I'd love to see designers, entrepreneurs, innovators, developers from Chicago to participate. The event is 2 days, Saturday the 19th to the 20th. We don't ask you to come prepared with anything. The morning of, we will provide a preface to some of the main consumer pain points of small business owners. There are 23 million of them, and they could all use tools and platforms to help them better address some of their challenges. So this event is going to have a $20,000 prize purse for people to join. Come on your own, bring a laptop. We'll put you in teams of up to 5 people. If you register before Sunday, registration is only $10. You'll get a free half-year subscription to General Assembly's Front Row. And when you come on site, you have an opportunity to learn more about financial health. We'll have technical experts there. We'll have people who can give you a little more insight into these problems that small business owners face. And if you'd like to learn any more about this, just go to smallbiz-hackathon.com or come to find me. I've got some business cards for the event. So I'd love to see you guys there. It's just going to be there at 1871 and you've got $20,000 up for grabs. So, love to see some people there.
Sure. Open Tech Strategies, my company is hiring a web developer, first for contract work, but there's a lot of it. We'll pay you well, we'll pay you at least as well as they pay Devon. That's not saying much. You know, there's a possibility it can turn into a full-time position soon, I hope. So come talk to me if you are a web developer or want to be one. Thank you.
And Open Tech Strategies will put their money where your mouth is because they bought the burritos tonight. All right.
There is an event to introduce people to OpenStreetMap, which is the Wikipedia of maps, and to get you started on mapping and editing existing data. OpenStreetMap can be used in any application, any product. You can print it out, no licensing fees. There's geocoding and routing services, and it's a repository of data worldwide. And so there's this new movement across the country called Map Time, which is just kind of like this, but all about maps. And so one of the first meetings will be next Thursday, July 17th at 200 East Randolph. That's the ThoughtWorks office. I didn't hear anybody from ThoughtWorks here. Usually like a huge crowd. Yeah. So they're hosting it, and I will be giving an introduction to OpenStreetMap, and we will get everyone who comes started and editing their first objects into the map or editing existing objects. So that could be like the Burger King down the street from your house is labeled incorrectly. and you want to fix them.
But the OCD people, they're fixing the planet one end at a time.
And this data is used it's really important work, especially in other countries that don't have the resources to do their own mapping, let's say on the government level, or the nonprofit, or the NGO level, or that Google or Apple or Microsoft haven't invested enough time and energy in that country. So it's a free system, and our group, OpenStreetMap, sends people around the world to teach others how to make maps for their own community.
What time is it?
6 o'clock.
Josh. There are 2 seats up here. That's a very important announcement. There's also floor space here.
All right, I got 2 clarifications from OpenGov from the other night that I want to chase down. One, you cannot FOIA architecture plans. There's an exception in the FOIA law, so they won't turn those over, with some exceptions around if you're a third-party developer. 2, Steve, this is for you. Easy permitting, you don't get the fees waived for easy permitting. You still go through a separate waiver process if you want to get your fees waived. But doing the easy permitting process does not necessarily equate to no fees on that.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes.
Metropolitan Planning Council is currently undergoing its placemaking competition, which is the activation of vacant lots around Chicago. So you can join the competition with the team and locate a vacant lot in the neighborhood and actually suggest ideas. And there is a placemaking training, and there's also prizes. So there's 4 prizes of $1,000 to help you actually activate that space. And so the deadline is August 15th. And if you're interested and want more information, come find me or go to metroplanning.org. There'll be more information on the website.
If you are interested in working for spending a year working on civic technology, the Code for America Fellowship application closes next week. The Code for America Fellowship is where they embed you in City Hall for about 6 weeks. Then you all go to San Francisco to work on a technology project for a city. It is awesome. If you are interested, come find me at the meeting.
This is the 5th year?
5th year.
Wow. Cool. Any other announcements? Well, then let's get on with the show. Without further ado, Matt Yee and the Data Science for Social Good.
All right. So it's incredibly hot in here, so we're going to talk really fast, and then hopefully be able to move out into the really great conversations that happen after all the bloviating happens. So really, really excited to be able to talk to such an amazing group of civic technologists in Chicago about what we're doing with the Data Science for Social Good Fellowship. And I think I'm going to do a real quick 3-minute introduction to the fellowship, and then we're going to have 2 fellowship teams come up and talk about what they're working on. And this is really just meant to be a taste for what we're working on. We actually would fill up this room if we brought all the fellows here. So we decided maybe it would be better to just do a kind of taste of Data Science for Social Good of Chicago with taste going on right now, so that everyone can get a sense for what we've got going on and come out and talk to us afterwards. Without further ado, Data Science for Social Good. What is it? Well, it helps to know a little bit about what is meant by data science. So this is a Venn diagram that was put together by a fellow named Drew Conway. And when people say data science, one of the things they might mean is someone that has some intersection of these kind of 3 core skill sets. And that's hacking skills, the ability to program on a computer, mathematical and statistical knowledge, the ability to correctly model and interpret data, and then some sort of substantive expertise. You know something about the real world, right? And the right questions to ask and where the problems really lie, right? Myself, Ray Ghani, and a fellow named Juan Pablo Velez, who has since left us for New York, has, oh yes, a cheer, everyone, for
Wait,
Juan.
what's the danger zone?
Danger zone. Oh, yeah. So this is like, yeah, you can kind of hack and you know something about, I don't know why this is a danger zone.
I'm going to put myself here.
Right. one of the things that's occurred to a lot of folks in data science over the last few years is that actually a lot of data science up till now has been used for getting people to click on ads and maybe spying Americans. And we were really interested in figuring out how could we maybe change that a little bit, right? How could we flip the Venn diagram a little bit and really start to think about what is the intersection of data science and good, right? I couldn't come up with, you guys can come up with creative ways of substituting James Bond and outside committee members for Spock in the circle of good. And so last year, thanks to a very generous gift from a fellow named Eric Schmidt, we were able to throw together a program, actually very, very quickly, that had 3 goals. To train aspiring data scientists and help equip them with the skills that they need to go out to the world and do data science. But do it in a way that helps them understand that they can apply those skills in settings other than driving clicks or spying on Americans. And to do it with project partners from the social sector, from government, from nonprofits, in a way that helps them build their internal capacity as well in working with us. And lastly, actually be solving real problems over the course of the summer. Be doing something that's going to impact the world, that's going to help the particular project partner make the world a better place by the end of the summer. And we were really lucky. Last year, we had over 600 applications. We selected 36 from all over the world. Here's our generous benefactor, or donor, and all the fellows from last year. We got them from a variety of disciplines. And the first thing we do when we get all the fellows together is we do training. Right? We help round out the skill set and make sure everyone's got a common set of languages and set of tools that they're going to be working with. And then, a little bit like Code for America, the next thing we do is really have them go out and interact with their project partner. Go to City Hall. This is actually the database administrator's office in Streets and Sanitation, where actually I think 2 of these 3 fellows are here tonight. Alessandra, yeah, excellent. And Zach, yeah, great. They go out and try to understand the data in context. What is it that how are decisions made in that particular context, and how does the data inform those decisions? And then they come back to the space and figure out how can we take the data that's there and the decisions that need to be made by that particular project partner and come up with some sort of mathematical model that's going to help that project partner turn that data into valuable insights. And then they get together and just start coding, figuring out, all right, we've got an idea about how to mathematically model things, we've got an idea about the data, we need to actually start working with it. And a lot of what goes on day to day in the Data Science Fellowship is something like this, where they're working together in teams with their mentor, trying to solve the nitty-gritty of working with messy data that comes from the real world. And the types of problems that we have the fellows work on range from disaster relief. I know that there's a lot of folks here tonight that work in that. Energy saving. Last year we actually did a major project with the entire state of Illinois on saving energy, helping students who are undermatching for college identify how they might be able to match to a better college, and a variety of other projects. These were 2013 partners, and it went really well last year. We had projects in health, energy, education, economic development, transportation, disaster relief. So this year, and feel free to come up and talk to any of the fellows or me afterwards if you have any questions about any of these projects from last year. This year we've got a really, really great crop of projects and a really, really fantastic set of fellows. We're working with America, Get Covered Illinois, the Chicago Department of Public Health, Nurse Family Partnership, all of these logos up here. We're happy to tell you a little more about each of those projects if you're interested. But the big numbers here is we've got 48 fellows, 6 mentors, 12 projects, and 12 weeks to get it all done. We would love for the greater Chicago community to not only know what's going on and follow us on the blog, but also participate. Come see us. We have Friday talks that are open to the public. We also have Friday data drinks, happy hours, Friday afternoons, where anyone is welcome to come and talk with the fellows, talk about the projects that are going on, and get involved. We'd also love everyone here that knows that is a potential project partner or knows a potential project partner to think about becoming a partner for next year. Also, a lot of you come from industry, would be fantastic as mentors for the fellowship next year. We'd love for you to consider being a mentor for the fellows next year. And a lot of you here might be interested in the fellowship itself. So please consider applying. We're also very, very interested in making sure that a lot of these really great fellows that have come here to Chicago from all over the world have the opportunity to stay here and make Chicago a better place to do data science for social good. And so if you are hiring, Carl, you may want to consider hiring a fellow as well. So that's enough. I'm going to turn it over to the other two fellow teams, and we might have a couple minutes at the end for a few questions. Awesome. Here we go. CDPH. Oh, no, CPS. Sorry.
Track and track.
Sorry. Hi everyone, I'm Vanessa. Like I introduced myself earlier, I'm really excited to be here, working with Chicago Public Schools this summer with the rest of my team who's sitting over there. So we're working on predicting student enrollment. So currently CPS school budgets are based on the number of students that CPS predicts is going to show up in the fall. So when there are inaccurate predictions, this causes last-minute money shuffles, staff changes, and disrupted educational time. So we want to make sure that we predict accurately with how many students are going to show up at which schools. So you might think that it's going to be pretty easy to predict where a public school student goes. They would just go to their closest neighborhood feeder school. I don't know if that's... This is not necessarily the case. So this map shows what all the students from one zip code, this purple area, in 8th grade go to school in 9th grade, which is all the black dots. So you can see that while many of the students do stay in the area, they kind of go all over the city. And then this black dot is students that have left the district. They're not in the lake. So you can see that there's a lot of factors that go into school choice. So this one. So given the complexity, and given that we have over 400,000 students from diverse backgrounds going to 600 schools, we're looking at a lot of data. So we're looking at 3 different levels. First is school level, looking at the performance rating, the programs they offer, and their historical past enrollment. Also looking at individual student data, so we have access to all of CPS's data on individual students, which is really cool. And then also looking at public data, so crime, economic development variables, etc. So since it's a pretty challenging task, we decided to approach the problem by breaking it down into smaller goals. So for instance, here we're looking at what happens when a new school opens. So this is 2 different high schools over 3 different years. So you can see over 2011 to 2013, the enrollments stayed pretty similar, but with the arrival of a new district high school, the red dot, the enrollment in the larger high school changed, but the smaller one happened. So looking at modeling things like when a school opens, what are the effects? And we're going to look at doing the same for when a school closes or relocates, and for other different smaller aspects of the problem. So the ideal solution at the end of the summer we want to come up with is a toolkit of different models and different solutions that we can present to CPS to accurately predict student enrollment. Thank you.
Give the PowerPoint up too.
You don't have to do it.
So we're all here to talk to you about reducing household energy use with smart meters. And if you don't know what a smart meter is, you can ask us later. So the current situation with smart meters in Illinois is...
So the current situation is that smart meters are being installed all across Illinois. There's hundreds of thousands that are installed. The reason is that utilities are using that more frequent data to make the power grid more stable. But that information can also help consumers with making better energy choices and saving energy.
If you want a small example of that, it's just you could we could look at your fridge, for example, and compare it to fridges in the neighborhood and say your fridge is using more power than everyone else's fridge, you should buy a new one. So that's a small example of how we could use that data.
Right. So where do we come in? So we take this data that's coming from the smart meter, and it just says how much power you're using. And then we're trying to develop algorithms that take that single point and turn it into a listing of appliances. So how much each appliance is using. And we can use information like, what does it look like when a refrigerator turns on? How much power does it use? So we go backwards. We disaggregate the aggregated sum of your power supply. And that helps us make more accurate recommendations. So for instance, we'll just maybe take a look at how your energy usage might break down. This is a
so.
Yeah.
Nice picture of Phil there.
Over the last couple of weeks at the Data Science for Social Good, we've been picking and studying algorithms that are going to be sophisticated enough to do the job. And
which may or may not, if anyone knows of any magical disaggregation algorithms, you should definitely let us know. We're also looking at breaking the problem into smaller sub-problems to solve, because there is no disaggregation algorithm that can do that perfectly.
So as part of the project, we want to provide a web tool that in the end, green button users, which is basically the interface that people use to get their data, could put it like in a website and then disaggregate the data and then break it apart into their individual appliances. So if you could hover over, so this graph shows you the like a monthly use, like a month, and you can see it just abstracts your usage, and then hopefully we'll have some graphs on the site later to kind of dive in deeper into the use.
We've been using like fridge and TV, but really like what's important is HVAC in most homes, and we're also looking at trying to find if a home has an electric vehicle. Any information about electric vehicles is also good.
So this is a home over the course of a year. So you can see each individual stream is one appliance, and you can see sort of how it breaks down, and how looking at one appliance individual or the sum won't tell you everything you need to know in order to decrease your energy. So for instance, this large blue one on the bottom, that's in June, July, and August, you can see that the air conditioning just spiked. And so that might be something that's useful to know. If you look at another person, you'll see that, oops, sorry.
They use no energy.
So this is another person's air conditioning usage. And so if you know that all of the energy you're using is coming from your air conditioner and rather than your lights, then you might look into turning down your thermostat or turning up your thermostat.
And these graphs are actually all from data that we're currently working with in Austin, Texas, which is one of the main reasons why HVAC is so incredibly extreme. But in the end, we're going to be working with the neighborhood of Oak Park to hopefully work with their aggregated data and provide these algorithms for the neighborhood there.
All right. Thank you.
So those are two of the flavor projects that we've got this summer. We've got projects in public health. We've got projects in international development. We have really great projects in education, maternal mortality, and reducing maternal mortality. Let's see. We've got some great projects working with the Sunlight Foundation.
What else am I missing, guys?
World Bank.
World Bank.
Lead poison.
Lead poison. That's public health. Yeah.
Career builder.
Career builder and skills for Chicagoland's future. So Memphis. Yeah, that's right. And smart development of cities. Yes. Anyway, so we've got a variety of projects. We've got a really great group of fellows, and we're doing hopefully really impactful work. Are there other questions that you have about the fellowship, about some of the presentations that were just given, about what we might be able to do in the future? Yeah.
Go ahead. Who would be a good partner for these fellows for hosting a fellowship?
So good question. We are looking for partners that have fundamentally a social mission, so that what the work that they do is going to improve society in some way. Who have enough data that this particular expertise of the teams that we put together is going to benefit them, and for whom there actually is a data-related problem, where the data that they've got, it can meaningfully connect to solving the problem that they're trying to work on. Beyond that, we're really just the additional screening mechanism is that the partner is willing to genuinely partner with us, which means they're willing to have weekly or biweekly calls with the fellows, work through some of the thorny data issues, and really help the fellows understand all of the necessary context around the problem so that they can solve it in the right way. Yeah.
Does all the data have to be public data?
No. In fact, both of these projects that were presented tonight are working with non-published data. Pecan Street, well, the Wiki Energy data is only available to universities.
I mean, our data is student data, and it can't be public.
Yes.
But there are very social problems that we would like to solve, so we're just trying to protect our there.
Yeah, so we actually we work with very, very sensitive data. So we have student level data from CPS, we have individual energy use data from homes, we have health record outcome data from hospitals. What we do is, as the university, we're able to enter into a data sharing agreement with the entity and house the data in a very secure environment, or if we can't house it in our compute environment, we can actually have the fellows log into wherever the data is and work in the environment that you guys have set up.
So on a similar note, so obviously some data you can't ever release.
Yeah.
And I remember from last year's projects, some of the code you were able to open source so other people sort of see what you did and learn from your approach. Do you have is that still the case this year? Do you have sort of a plan? Are you talking with the partners about that at all this year?
Yeah, so the goal of every project is to have the core code that's developed over the course of the summer be open source and be available to the broader community. We can't necessarily develop in the open because the data that is so sensitive. We have to actually do a lot of work near the end of the fellowship to make sure that we're not exposing anything that should not be made public in making the code public. So we do a lot of the initial code development with private code repositories, but at the end of the fellowship, you'll see each of the project pages will come to life and be completely open. They'll be fairly well documented, and all the code will be available for you guys to be able to access. Yeah.
Are there examples of how some of the partners from last year are using the work, the tools, and I imagine algorithms or whatever that the fellows came up with?
Sure. So I'll give a quick example from the state of Illinois I brought up. So they had recently, there are two things happening at the state from last year. One was they had a major initiative that the state was rolling out to retrofit a lot of its buildings and to do energy assessments for how to reduce the energy use of a lot of its buildings. And at the same time, they recently gotten a hold of all of the energy use data for all the buildings that the state owned. And they said, maybe there's an opportunity for us to use this data to more intelligently know where to spend our money in improving our buildings. So what we did is we built a tool out in cooperation with the state,
with the Department of Energy and Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory that allowed the state to feed in its energy use data and essentially spit out recommendations for how they might be able to, which buildings they should focus on, and how they might be able to change those buildings for reduced energy use. And one of the things that came out of that, really, that was very interesting, is it chose to initially focus on prisons, correctional facilities. There are over 300 in the state of Illinois. That's a problem for discussion for another day. But a lot of them actually look exactly the same. They bought one blueprint and made a whole bunch of them across the state in a cookie cutter fashion. What that allows you to do is you can compare a whole bunch of them and say, they should have essentially the same energy use, and these ones don't. What they were able to do with that particular tool is help the state identify different correctional facilities across the state where essentially the floodlight system that they had running was using twice the amount of energy that the more efficient floodlight systems in the state were using. And because of that, they were able to make really intelligent choices about changing out that lighting system. There were great examples of partners using the data and the analytics product that came out of last year in helping identify students that were likely to undermatch for college and help give them the support services they need to really reach their full potential. And there, we can talk through a few others maybe offline, but one of our goals this year is to do an even better job of doing that handoff and ensuring that what gets developed really gets implemented by the project. Any other questions? Yeah.
On a slightly different tack, how do you do selection for mentors?
Are you volunteering? So for mentors, we're generally mentors have a challenging role. They have to wear a lot of hats, and they have to be both a technical mentor and be able to speak to kind of the technical expertise of the project needed for the project and help out the team technically. But they also have to be a good project manager and help the team know just how on a daily basis they go from a plan to action and how they string those actions together to eventually get to a final product. And so if you have prior experience either in industry, preferably consulting, for example, one of our really fantastic mentors from last year, a woman named Elena Enova, came from Accenture and was one of the data scientists there. That's great. We've got a number of our mentors that are coming from academia. They're assistant professors, and so they've had the experience of managing research teams. So we're open to a variety of different kind of paths, but we really are looking for a core skill set that says you can help manage a team both technically and on a project basis. Yeah.
What's the typical background of a fellow?
So maybe an interesting way to answer this is just have some of the fellows say what their background is. Bill, you want to?
I just graduated from Harvard with a degree in chemistry and also computer science.
Great. Schmidt, do you want?
Yeah, I just graduated from NYU with a degree in computer science as well.
My undergrad was in physics, so I'm in psychology now. I'm getting a PhD in computer engineering at Wendy.
I just finished a bachelor's in political science.
I just did statistics and computer science in Georgetown. I'm going to further study computer science in UCLA.
I'm a computer science PhD student at Notre Dame.
I just finished architecture and design. But
he also knows a lot of computer science. It's pretty core stuff.
And I think one of the things you hear, certainly you're hearing computer science over and over again, but one of the things that we deliberately try to do is we recognize that no one has that, that Venn diagram of skills, right? Or I guess the donut is up instead. The hacking skills, the statistical skills, as well as the domain knowledge. But we realize that we can put together teams that all together make that Venn diagram happen. And so what we're really try to do is have a mix of fellows that have that come from computer science backgrounds, a mix of fellows that come from statistics or applied math, and a set of fellows that really come from domains where they're going to be able to lend particular expertise to particular projects. So on balance, you'll actually see kind of a third composition if you look at the fellows page, which I should briefly point to. If you want to find out more about the fellowship, follow our blog, etc., you can go to dssg.io or dssg.uchicago.edu. This is us having a video conference with DSSG Atlanta that just started this year. We're actually really excited, and we'll actually be we're working on a couple of new cities for next year as well. So it's not just Chicago now. We've got a few other cities popping up. That's really exciting.
Are you, for your partners, are you providing them just data-based recommendations, or are you actually giving them data products that might rely on their existing data infrastructure? Because that was sort of the first question that came up in my mind, is like, you know, what if CPS doesn't have the infrastructure to run every year regressions in R based off of their enrollment data? Like, is that something that you guys have come across, or like, what are you providing to the sponsors, and how do they sort of pick up where you guys leave off at the end of the summer?
That's a very important question. Maybe actually, Montgomery, would you like to briefly say what you guys are working on to do this? Because I think this is a really good
Yeah, so it's a little bit of both. So right now we've been working on interfaces using Shiny and R, which basically you can just launch web-based applications, and on the server backend you'll sort of run R code, but we're sort of setting up ways that they could, for instance, we might have developed a model that identifies students that might be likely to not graduate from high school or not apply to colleges. And so we would have developed the model, but then they could sort of upload new data and have it, you know, run on them, and then sort of output sort of a set of recommendations and actions that they could take for their new students. And we would sort of facilitate the interface for that.
And so later this week, they're actually showing to Montgomery County 2 different versions of that app that they built. Like, oh, here's one version of it. Here's another. What's useful, what's not, and getting that feedback and kind of iterating over the next 6 weeks to develop something that is going to be able to run internally and kind of live beyond the fellowship.
All right. Well, thank you very much, guys. It's like 7:10. So, okay, 5 more minutes, because we're just going to do really quickly topic facilitation. So this is something where basically we're all going to leave this room, although some people can stay here, and we're going to break off into different groups. And to help facilitate that, we have certain people who have volunteered to be the leaders of these different groups. So we're going to briefly just run through those. I think the first one, though, Matt and the fellows, you guys may want to stay in this room. Sure. And if you want to have more of a conversation about DSSG.
I was thinking the CPS people should combine with the education group.
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, sure. So DSSG, interested in that, stay here. Yeah, Josh, you want to talk about the education group?
Yes, we've got one of the breakout groups is education, and there's kind of initial stages of a project being worked on right now to look at how parents find schools, but we're also interested in looking at other things like enrollment. And for those that want to learn more about how enrollment affects budgeting, I put a post on the Hack Night Google group about the current proposed CPS budget and student-based budgeting. So we can talk about that. Yeah.
Cool. So education, fine, Josh. Do you know where you're going to be? Out there?
I think out there.
Okay, cool.
I definitely like.
There's some big tables like right when you walk in, and that's where we'll be. Transportation?
Yeah. So we're going to talk about why CTA bus ridership is at one of its lowest points ever.
What?
And that rail ridership is growing by leaps and bounds. And it's highest since 1920s. And one point is that not everyone who the rail ridership is not exactly people who are switching from bus to rail. So we're going to discuss some causes that the CTA has already investigated, and also try to come up with some new ideas of why bus ridership in Chicago is at one of the lowest points ever.
Really quick, is it that relative to the population?
No.
Is it uncut? All right, Vince, another topic, okay?
multi-decade.
What else we got? Scott, environment.
Yeah, environmental issue. If you're tackling anything along those lines, we're talking about residential buildings with 5 units or more that don't have recycling. We're talking about beach closings, farmers markets, and anything else that you're interested in the environmental space. Air, water.
Yeah. Who else are we missing? We got the, oh yeah, civic hacking. We should have started with you, I'm sorry. Civic hacking 101, Christopher Whitaker, tell them your deal.
So if this is your first time here, you are new to the concept of open data, open source, you don't know what GitHub is, you're completely lost, I can help you. I do a 15-minute orientation that kind of goes over everything, sort of gets you all the jargon and the lingo and how this night works. That way you can go to the other breakout groups armed with sort of the knowledge of how everything works. So if you go this direction and look this way, there'll be a conference room. That's where we'll be.
And related to that, there's a new coders group. So Carl Fogel, raise your hand, and Damon Drummer are in charge of that group. So you guys want to say a little bit about?
Go ahead. Sure.
We are the new coders group. Carl's walking us through Git, GitHub, things like that. So just, we'll be out.
Yeah, I mean, this is generally, if you thought you'd come here and maybe learn how to learn to program, we can help you avoid some of the obstacles that we've seen before and help you get coding faster. Yeah.
And we're going to be...
We'll be out there somewhere. Look for the suspenders.
I think the last one is the city data group. I think Gene usually runs that. Does somebody want to run that group in their stead? It's basically to talk about, I know Gene has a project about vacant buildings that he's working on, but I think there's also sort of a general city data question kind of working group. So if anybody want to...
the Chicago City Data User Group?
I mean, if you want to like be in charge of that, yeah, you want to...
Sure. We do that, well, there's the user group, which we...
Oh yeah, different group, right, yeah. So this is like a subgroup of just people talking about city data. It's mostly like to have someone from the city to be there to answer questions about city data. But I mean, you run this other group. Yeah. So you want to... Sure. You the guy? Okay, sure. Cool. Are there any others I'm missing? I think that's all the ones we have, right? Is there anybody who doesn't find any of that at all interesting? Well, congratulations, you got some free food. So, you didn't walk away empty stomach at least. So thanks again for coming. Thanks again to our presenters.